have some time, let me, Andy, can you go check with Curtis, see how much time Gallagher will have after if he's got some time for one-on-ones? Cool, thank you. Yep.
He's entrenched in a deep conversation, and I am not going to.
Okay.
Daniela, did the security come fix you yet or no?
No, not
Okay,
yet.
all right. All right, okay. Yes. Oh, hi, how are you? Good. How are you?
What's up?
Let's set up right there.
Okay.
Little bump caffeine.
Hey, how are you? Good. Just a couple minutes. Let me rank those.
Good morning. Thanks for being out here today. Today marks a pretty special day for us as we're nearing the 5-year mark of the Camp Fire up in Butte County. And it's a beautiful day to be together, to have a meaningful event about where we've been, the progress we've made, and just to give gratitude for all the people that have contributed to the recovery. I also want to thank the planning committee from the various offices that have put together the event today. My name's Megan Kurtz, and I'm a founding member and chair of the board of the Camp Fire Collaborative, and I'm a 23-year resident of Butte County. And today we wanted to bring together elected officials, North State nonprofit leaders, and local leaders to give an overview and celebrate the recovery efforts and to show our support and recognition of all of this work. The Camp Fire, as we all know, was the most devastating wildfire in the history of California, destroying thousands of homes and the landscape of our foothills forever changed. The lives of our friends and family that we lost on November 8th will not be forgotten, and I'd like to honor those lives today with a moment of silence, if you'll please join me. Thank you. The community members of the North State have a strength that comes from understanding what it means to come together after a disaster. In the first few days after the Camp Fire, over 5,500 firefighters were deployed to fight a blaze for 17 days, while many of us were gathering in basements of hotels, church fellowship halls, and hospital conference rooms in Chico, California. We started there to try and start to make sense of what was ahead for our county and what it meant to truly enter a long-term recovery. What came from those small meetings was a growth of local organizations, from really large brand name logos with global influence to smaller nonprofits with passionate people power, to create what is now known throughout most of the fire-affected communities in the nation as the Camp Fire Collaborative. For the past 5 years, we've continued to work together with nearly 100 agencies towards a common vision: to develop a healthy and thriving region through collective purpose, to unite community partners, so together we can strengthen and align every unique contribution that goes into long-term recovery. This vision and purpose has been successful because of the people behind the scenes, the people in front of Sacramento, the people in front of their local organizations, to come together to do this work. And these people are here to speak to all of you today, to give insight and also some foresight in what's to come for Butte County. So I'd like to introduce to you two of our superintendents of Paradise School District, Tom Taylor and David McCready.
I want to say thank you for everybody being here today and for this opportunity. Tom Taylor, Superintendent of Paradise Unified School District, David McCready, Assistant Superintendent. Before I get started, I want to say let the people of Maui know that our thoughts and prayers are with them from Paradise, as we all too much understand what they're dealing with. Today, David and I were asked to kind of share our story about the day of the fire and what happened. A day that we don't like to go back to often, but we do on occasion. And it's amazing. I'm going to share this real quick before I get going about how close something like this can bring two people together. And on that day when we walked out of the fire, and I'll share just a little bit about that. November 8th, it was a little after 7 in the morning. I look out my house and look out my front porch. There's a fire. You see the fire. It's heading our direction. Ran up to Ponderosa Elementary, which was the first school that was we evacuated. Left my house and I'm like, this is serious. Get to Ponderosa, which is about 8 minutes away, and I'm like, this is life-threatening. By that time, it's almost pitch black. Walking around with flashlights. We're evacuating the school, getting the kids out, getting buses there as quick as we can, and it was probably somewhere around 7:40, and I was walking through the school checking to be sure it was evacuated, and at that time, traffic not moving, and our district office is about 3/4 of a mile away, and I'm looking at traffic not moving, fire coming, and it was like, what options do you have? You got to start moving. And so headed to the district office, and walking through by myself, which at that point I not ran into David. I walk in and David, what are you doing? He's still there. He said, I'm answering phones. And at that point, we talked and decided to walk. We realized that we had to check some more school sites and be sure that they were clear, to be sure that the schools were evacuated. And as I share this, I want to be sure that I want to mention that we're sharing our story today, but it is not just our story. As we share, many people, probably everybody up here, has experienced a very similar story, or even more horrific. But anyway, it was a walk through town of about 3.5, 4 miles as we were walking, unlike everybody else, fire, on sides of the road, near the road, and what have you, and checking schools to be sure that they were evacuated. And I have to give our schools, Paradise Unified, all of our charter schools, we had about 4,200 students that day, all evacuated safely. And what it took was people doing things that were just incredible, and being sure students got out. We got down to our bus sheds. It probably took 45 minutes, whatever it took to walk down there. And this is just an example of what we ran into. Our dispatch transportation was still there, and I think it was David that said, what are you doing here? You got to go. And she said, no, I can't. I have to be sure people are all taken care of. And at that point, electricity was out, and it was kind of a sign that we had to leave. But it was definitely a day that everybody would like to forget, which we never will. But it's also a day that we're not going to stay stuck in. And that's what we're here to talk about today also. We at Paradise Unified, we are like the community. We're growing, and we've seen an increase in our enrollment. We have gone, we were about 3,400 the day before the fire. We dropped down to about 43% of that. We're now at about 660, so we're really getting close to the 50% mark of students returning. So we have some great things happening with recovery, and that's not just within our school district, that's within our entire community. We've also seen our facilities. We have four facilities that were completely burned down, and due to enrollment, we've only rebuilt one, but we will be rebuilding more as students come back. 4 of our buildings others were damaged. There was only one school that was not. Since that time, the other schools have been modernized, and we are in the process of rebuilding our other elementary school. So lots of stuff going on. I want to be sure to point out that our community has done an incredible amount of work, and it has taken everybody, but it's also taken a lot of people from outside of our community, and I see those faces today. And I want to say thank you to all of those that have shown that support, because it's been hard work. The hard work has been done by the community and other people, and we greatly appreciate it. We opened up our new building at our high school just recently, and it was going through my mind that what we were doing as a community, not long ago we were just surviving, and then we kind of moved into that mode where we were striving. And I see in our community not just the striving piece now, but those glimpses of thriving, and it is because everybody coming together. So we want to thank everybody for doing that. And I also have to give a lot of credit to my colleague here, Mr. McCready, as he has been just a critical piece of that over the last number of years. So we want to thank you for the opportunity in sharing that today. Thank you all.
Thank you, Tom and David. Your dedication to the students and the future of Paradise is not only admirable, but it's been a real honor to watch you two the last 5 years do your work. Next, I'd like to invite Supervisor Doug Teeter to speak.
Good morning. What a turnout. Thank you all for coming. Just real quick, the naming conventions of fire, I think, need to be reworked. It really was the Camp Creek Road that the fire started, because the campfire just sounds too warm and fuzzy. And so to me, it's the Camp Creek Road fire. So, you know, don't think we're getting out the s'mores on this. And as we know, it's the most destructive fire in the state history, with 85 lives lost and, you know, untold amount of residential and commercial structures lost. 14% of the county housing stock was lost, and that equates to the loss of Citrus Heights, Rancho Cordova, and Carmichael in Sacramento, to put it in perspective. And if you ever seen the image, I think it was the Chronicle did, it showed the campfire over San Francisco, Oakland, Berkeley, and it literally like spanned the whole bay on its size. 25% of workforce housing. A lot of Paradise was an area where a lot of folks could have a more affordable house, and so a big loss to our county on workforce housing. Impacts to the county. You know, we all hear about Paradise a lot, but there's a big community above Paradise, Magalia, which was about 13-some thousand folks. Half of that burned. Concal, which is now burned twice. Yankee Hill, Butte Creek Canyon, Butte Valley, and so a lot of those areas aren't as recognized as Paradise. So being the county supervisor, I wanted to point that they have the same struggles in their communities as the folks in Paradise. Obviously, you know, I want to recognize Butte County's role in housing, and also, you know, Butte County's, you know, the government itself and the employees there, because the Camp Fire isn't the only fire we've had. We had the North Complex shortly thereafter, and then the Dixie Fire started. And so the impact on county employees has been, I mean, it's just mind-boggling what they've had to do time and time again. And I definitely want to, you know, show my thanks to them and the appreciation for what they've done. And I'd like to point out Alyssa Douglas, our assessor, is here. And you know, you never think of like the impact to the assessor's office on all these properties that just their value is just dropped, or now they're going up because there's building. And so just one department's change in workload is just unfathomable. So a big thank you to the assessor's office. She probably didn't know I was going to do that today. Also, Butte County Planning, we did a general plan update to the Magalia area, and we called it the Upper Ridge Community Plan. That received a National American Planning Association award. So, you know, hats off to the community who showed up to take part, and then also to the staff that put it all together. And it was a really nice plan, and we'll see how Magalia rebounds. You know, it's a little different there. The commercial never really took off. It's kind of, you know, I'd say maybe I'll get harangued by citizens after I say this, but it's kind of a bedroom community to Paradise. And, you know, now they're trying to find themselves after the fire where half the population has disappeared. It was a lot of retirees that moved up in that area in the 70s. And so another thing with housing, Butte County is working on pre-approved small homes. And we also have Title 25 construction where people can actually mill their own lumber and not need all the requirements if they build under this Title 25. And it meets like a really good, not meets is not the right word. It fits really well with really rural areas where a wood stove could be their sole source of heat. So places like Concal where, you know, propane's expensive, electricity is, you know, getting pricier as we go forward. So those are some of the things that I just wanted to mention. And I want to point out, I guess, to close, there's quite a few of us that actually graduated from Paradise High. Mayor is, and Tom Taylor is, and I think Bruce Yerman, definitely. And when I grew up in Paradise, and I'm going to say they grew up at the same time, it was really a bunch of retirees, so we kind of joked about the blue hairs. You know, you'd see this tuft of hair over the steering wheel as they drove around. And now we're getting word that a lot of families are moving back. So the whole, you know, makeup of the town is changing into this younger generation, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And again, just wanted to say a few words about the county and, you know, the housing and then the citizens themselves. And thank you all for being here, and I'll pass the buck.
Thanks, Supervisor Teeter. The dedication that he has shown to our district and our community has been a huge strength in the recovery from the very early days, and we thank you for that. Next to speak is the Paradise Mayor, Greg Bolin.
Thank you so much for coming and taking time out of your day to be here. We really do appreciate this. And this is our time to say thank you for all everybody's done for us to help us. I remember shortly after the fire, we had no place to meet as a council and staff. So I remember us meeting in a hallway at a building. I couldn't tell you where the building is right now. And some officials came to us and said, if you're going to come back, if you're going to make it, if the town's going to come back at all, you need to get your schools up and running, you need to get your churches back up and running, and you need to get your businesses back in town. Our school system has done an incredible job at bringing back better buildings. People want to be there with their kids. They've done incredible. Our churches are coming back, we're building more and more, and our businesses are coming back. So that has been really good to watch happen, and they were right. Those are important parts for our community. Again, my name is Greg Bolin. I'm the mayor of the town of Paradise, and it's a privilege for me to do that. I lost my home on November 8th, 2018 in the Camp Fire, along with thousands of others and all of our council members at that time. Paradise lost 90% of its structures and saw our population go from 26,500 to 0 overnight. Recovery began right away with 3.7 million tons of debris removed over the course of 9 months. That's the same or equivalent to 4 Golden Gate bridges. Hundreds of thousands of hazardous trees had to be removed. Over the past 5 years, we have been working hard to restore our community and recover. Our water system is the most heavily tested in the country, and it's safe to drink. It has been tested many times, trust me. By 2026, all of our public roads will be repaved. Our electric and communication utilities are being underground, and by 2025, there will be no remaining overhead lines or utility poles. That's important to us because those were burning and falling on the streets and blocking people. We installed 21 early warning system sirens to keep our residents aware of future emergencies. They're working, we're just doing some tweaks to them, and we hope we never have to use them. We have instituted more resilient building requirements to ensure our community is prepared as we go forward. As of this week, we've rebuilt 2,562 housing units. Some people might not think that's a lot. Before the fire, we were building 3 or 4 homes a year. This is equivalent to 500 to 600 a year that we've done since the fire. At any given time, you'll have more than 600 homes under construction. We have more projects going on to restore our community than I've ever thought possible. I am a builder by trade. I've been a general contractor for 44 years, so I build homes for a living. Working within my community to rebuild people's homes and lives has been more than an honor that I could even imagine in my life. We could not have come this far without the help of the state of California and our legislatures, and we deeply mean that. Without them, we could not have made it. We want to thank those of you who have helped us and let you know we're not going to stop until the job is done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Bolin. Your leadership and awareness of all the intricacies of the town of Paradise has been much needed over the past 5 years, and I thank you for that. Next, I'd like to introduce the Executive Director of the Rebuild Paradise Foundation, Jen Goodland.
Hi. Have you guys ever tried solving a puzzle flipped over and backwards? It's really hard to put the pieces together when you can't see the picture. That is what our recovery is like. It is like a 1 million piece puzzle being done flipped over. You have no instructions, no picture. The task seems daunting, almost impossible. In fact, people have told you there is no hope. It can't be done. You stare at this 1 million piece puzzle and you don't even know where to begin. But then you stop and you decide to begin with one piece. You put 1 foot forward, then you start. For us, we started by removing the 20,000 burnt cars on our streets. Someone else stepped in and helped with another piece and then another. Soon you realize many people are helping, adding their pieces. From the town and county taking risks, believing we could recover, to the contractors physically rebuilding our community, to the local chamber of commerce advocating for businesses, to the nonprofits filling gaps and providing resources quickly. To the first responders working nonstop, keeping our community safe, to the neighbors across the street helping one another. To the school district honestly killing it. To the truck drivers hauling away hundreds and thousands of pounds of debris. To the man holding the stop sign for 8 hours. To the mechanic keeping all of our needed vehicles going. To the middle of the night road work. To the park and recreation district reminding us of all the incredible beauty we still have. To the hundreds and thousands of agencies helping throughout the state. They are all pieces to this massive puzzle, and we need every single one of them to recover. We are so grateful for each piece added to the puzzle, everyone offering something unique and needed with their passion or expertise. Even the naysayers who said paradise was lost forever, they bring a piece to this puzzle because we really like to prove them wrong. Then there are the unexpected pieces, ones we could never see coming, like helping our friends in Lahaina, who have suffered a great loss like ours. That piece of the puzzle helps us to heal. Then there are the necessary and big pieces, the milestones, from the first home football game, to the hundreds and thousands of trees removed, to the best and most heavily tested water in the country, to our beloved Paradise sign being rebuilt, to the over 3,000 homes built to completion in 5 years, which I might add are being built to the highest, most wildfire standard. To the almost 10,000 people who now live in the town of Paradise, making us the fastest growing town in the state. And what you might not see in the 3,000 homes are the people who belong to them. The Fritsch family, party of 3, who moved away and then came back. And the 90-year-old who was not going to let age stop her. Mr. and Mrs. Gilbertson, who had just completed their home the day of the fire and then lost it and did it all over again. Mrs. Kudelink, unwilling to let crooks stop her. The Brooks family, using innovation in every possible way to bridge the gap for those rebuilding. The Simmons family, with 3 children who have lived in a trailer for 5 years waiting for their home to be rebuilt. Mr. Matthews, who bought a book on how to construct a house so he could do it himself. And let us not forget the 85 who never had the chance to rebuild. For some, it has taken over 25 agencies to complete one house. You must know that every single piece of the puzzle is absolutely needed to come home. As we put our puzzle together, we realize that Paradise isn't just a replication of our past, but it's an opportunity to create something new, even more beautiful, resilient, and united. Something better. You should know we aren't done yet. There are many pieces still needed to complete our puzzle. We still need you. We still need your help and resources. But one day, we will get to turn our puzzle over. It probably won't look like what anyone will expect or could have ever imagined, but it will be beautiful, better, and completely unique, and part of the bigger puzzle in our beautiful state of California.
Thanks, Jen. The tireless work of the Rebuild Paradise Foundation is a crucial element of how people find their way back home to Paradise, as well as Jen failed to mention family like hers that found their way to Paradise from another state. So thank you, Jen. I'd like to invite our last speaker to come up today, Assemblyman James Gallagher.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure to be with you all this morning. You know, November 8th was a terrible day, and I remember it well. I was here at this Capitol building and got the word about what was happening and drove as fast as I could up north. I got to Oroville. And you know, it was chaos. There was so much going on that day, and I do remember seeing Doug Teeter come in there barely escaping with his life, and coming in and sit all over him. Now Doug won't tell you that today, but you know, all these people up here, they went through hell. They've been through hell and back, and it's truly amazing what they've been able to accomplish, all working together. And that day and the days thereafter, as I toured around the evacuation centers and as I met victims and everything they were going through, I was given a new mission in life. Senator Nielsen and I were given a new mission in life and in public service, to stand shoulder to shoulder with this community, the people of the Ridge and Concow, Yankee Hill, Cherokee, all those who were affected, to come back, to bring this region back. And 5 years, that terrible day is still seared in our minds, but the hope that we have seen has been so overwhelming. And the way that we have seen so many different people come together to help this community has been amazing. And so to stand here 5 years later, to really just, you know, put a spotlight on all the amazing things that have happened, to really celebrate all the work that has been done, and to recommit ourselves to this community, to the continued and ongoing rebuilding, and also ensuring that this doesn't happen to other communities. And you know, that is why we're here today. It's awesome to see a lot of the good work that's been done in this legislature. Just this year, we were able to, you know, continue to get an extension of the property tax, lower property tax for those who are rebuilding. I was happy to be able to get that bill through. $1 million that was given to Habitat for Humanity, who's doing some amazing work in rebuilding and helping some of our low-income folks get housing back on the Ridge. You know, that was a big marker. And then just today, Doug LaMalfa's legislation to give tax exemption for fire victims, payments out of the Fire Victims Trust, passed out of Ways and Means. So the work continues. There's still a lot of things that we need to do, still a lot that we need to work on together. I also want to thank the first responders that day, CAL FIRE, Butte Sheriff Corey Honey and his team. Everybody who responded that day did God's work, and they saved a lot of lives. And I want to make sure we really recognize them. Some of the CAL FIRE representatives I know are here with us today. Nothing can ever prepare you for what that was, right? But the greatest asset and the greatest hope is the people of Paradise and the Ridge, who every day I see do amazing things. And we're here to recognize them. We're here to also recognize so many who have helped those people. But it is that hope that is going to rebuild this community, is going to do amazing things. And as we rise, we continue to rise, the schools, the businesses, the homes, the community. It's just an amazing thing to see, and we will continue to work, stand shoulder to shoulder with them as we finish the work. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Assemblyman. I really thank him for his partnership for the past 5 years and all that he's done and all he'll continue to do for Butte County. It has never ceased to amaze me. Every time we have a meeting, every time we have a general meeting with our collective partners, every time we ask people to join together, for what the power of these people that have the willing hearts to do the hard work can do together. So thank you for all of our speakers for being here today and for taking the time. And while these 5 certainly deserve to have the microphone today to provide their perspective and support for the long-term recovery of Butte County, there are many of you, as I'm looking out in the crowd, that also deserve to be recognized for the efforts that you've put in near and far to support the growth and recovery of Butte County. CAL FIRE and the first responders who provided mutual aid during the Camp Fire, Cal OES, Nancy Ward and all of her staff, the entire staff of the Office of Butte County, the California Department of Education and the Fiscal Crisis and Management Assistance Team that provided support for our schools, of course FEMA, Cal Recycle, the Department of Insurance, GoBiz and Dee Dee Myers, the California Office of Small Business Advocacy, the California State Water Resource Control Board, the Contractor State License Board, Senator Pro Tem Tom Atkins, Senator Brian Dolly, Assembly Member Megan Dolly, Assembly Member Jackie Irwin, Assembly Member Jim Wood, Congressman Doug Lamalfa and his staff that are here today, Congressman Mike Thompson, the California Assessor's Office Association, the Association of California Realtors, the California Professional Firefighters, the California Chamber of Commerce, the State Building and Construction Trades Council of California, the California Apartment Association, the California Hospital Association, including I know we have some here from Gridley Hospital today, which were immense help during the fire, the Rural County Representatives of California, and every person, every business, and every nonprofit group in the region that has donated their time, their talents, their people, their insight and perspective to aid us in this recovery. You are all an important piece of this collaborative effort for the recovery. So thank you for each of you for being here today and for all that you've done for the ongoing efforts and everything that we still need to have done moving forward. At this time, I'd like to invite to the stage Senator Majority Leader Mike McGuire, Trustee Fire Victims Trustee Kathy Yanni, California State Treasurer Fiona Ma, retired State Senator Jim Nielsen, and Assemblyman James Gallagher. I'd first like to recognize Senator Mike McGuire, who Chris Nielsen is here on his behalf today. He was instrumental in critical funding and infrastructure for the rebuild of Paradise. At the time of the Camp Fire, the town of Paradise was the largest unsewered community west of the Mississippi, and the town has sought a formal wastewater treatment solution since it was incorporated in 1979. Senator McGuire helped secure $800,000 in the 2019-2020 state budget to kickstart this sewer project. In the aftermath of the Camp Fire, Senator McGuire played a key role in convening various state and federal agencies into a working group. Through his efforts, the project gained attention, interest, and kickstart funding. The state is invested in the sewer project because of Senator McGuire's dedication. His ongoing support explored the ways to get the sewer project in Paradise funded and expedited its expedition has been deeply appreciated. His capital director, Christopher Nielsen, will be accepting this recognition on his behalf. All right. Next, we'd like to recognize Senator Jim Nielsen. Senator Jim Nielsen, in the early retired Senator Jim Nielsen was able to secure $2 million to support the critical Butte County fire stations, give $10 million in aid to the Camp Fire recovery, including funding the support of the operations for the Paradise Irrigation District as they restored the town's drinking water. $800,000 to kickstart Paradise construction of the new sewer system for the town's business district, and 3 years of ADA backfill for impacted schools. Thank you. Next, we'd like to recognize Treasurer Fiona Ma. Treasurer Fiona Ma and her team have been relentless advocates for the town of Paradise and Butte County. She reached out immediately after the fire to offer her assistance, specifically to support funding requests and the need to replace such a massive loss of affordable housing in Northern California, especially on the Ridge. In 2022, Treasurer Ma helped ensure that $100 million in affordable housing tax credits were directed to the counties devastated by the disaster, including Butte County. With her help, Butte County will have added 1,000 units of affordable housing by the end of next year. Treasurer Ma and her staff were incredibly responsive and have always been quick to jump on phone calls and to help solve problems and navigate complex finance issues. We are honored and appreciated that the state's primary banker has made the campfire recovery a priority. Thank you. Next is Kathy Yanni of the trustee of the Fire Victims Trust. The Fire Victims Trust was established in 2020 from the bankruptcy of PG&E to offer an efficient and equitable claim review process to compensate campfire survivors. This was a monumental task and the largest wildfire settlement compensation program in the nation's history. After the original trustee resigned, Kathy Yanni became the trustee of the Fire Victim Trust effective July 1st, 2022. She came in with the goal of offering greater transparency and engagement directly with survivors and the public. She has delivered on that promise for us. When she took the new job, Paradise Town Council member Steve Crowder invited her up to the Ridge, and within 30 minutes of the invitation, Trustee Yanni had accepted. To date, under Trustee Yanni's leadership, the trust has paid out more than $10 billion to claims, with now 98 of those claims resolved. Her dedication to communication and transparency is appreciated. This is an extremely complex and often thankless role, and we appreciate Trustee Yanni's commitment to the Butte County area and to the town of Paradise. Assemblyman James Gallagher. His relentless advocacy for Butte County and the town of Paradise has made it easier for fire survivors to afford to relocate. He made sure that there were firm protections in place for people rebuilding their homes. He secured tax exemptions for settlement funds to survivors so they can use those funds to rebuild their entire life. He was instrumental in ensuring Paradise could construct their water pipeline and the sewer projects in a way that makes sense. And he helped the school district in Paradise to make sure that they had the funding they needed to keep our young people in school and to be able to recover together. James Gallagher. As we close out our time here giving thanks and recognition for the past 5 years of incredibly hard work of so many, I want to remind all of us that it's through the power of mindful collaboration combined with the humility and care for one another at the forefront that is making the campfire recovery work blossom and thrive the way that it is. It's because of open and honest communication with each other, with the overarching desire to do well by one another, that we are able to move forward as a community. We're moving forward with our long-term goals and our recovery plan, much thanks in part to the hard work of the people standing behind me and those of you that are in front of me here to support this work today. Thank you all for taking the time to be here and for remembering Paradise, for remembering Butte County, for remembering the North State Ridge as we continue to rebuild and recover. Thank you. I believe we can now open it up for questions.
What's the greatest challenge that you guys think is still ahead?
I think, as my friend Jen said, it's not really knowing what that picture is going to look like moving forward, because we are navigating uncharted waters of the recovery. So I think the challenge is not knowing what the final picture will look like, but being able to know as we're building what that picture is going to look like together, that we're doing that together.
If you could speak to the struggles maybe the area is having to go through this crisis now, what is people going through now? Sort of as a pivotal point.
I'm going to ask somebody else answer that question for you.
Yeah, insurance is a huge challenge. It's one of the biggest challenges I think we're facing right now. And it's something we've been talking a lot about. A lot of people are being forced onto the FAIR plan. They're not, there's nobody that can cover. We started to see that actually around Paradise at first, like say in Forest Ranch. Now we've seen that much more. And it's why we have to do much more work on that front. Certainly the emergency regulations that were announced by the governor and the insurance commissioner were good. I think those were a long time in coming. Probably should have happened a couple years ago. But there's still more. It's not the only solution. We need to do more, and it's about getting this market right again, so that we have multiple insurers writing policies in California. So more work to be done on that front, but it's certainly an issue. I would say other issues. Look, housing and streamlining processes to ensure we can build housing. Everything is more expensive right now, so that's a struggle. But through the work that we've had through the nonprofits like Rebuild Paradise, you heard from, and so many others, they've helped a lot in helping to provide support. We passed a bill that had streamlined plans that people could utilize that save money. So we've tried, as each struggle has come up, I think we've tried to find different solutions. And again, this community, the resilience, the commitment, the dedication, that's really the asset that I think has kept pushing everything forward. It's why the school is growing, the community is growing. They're not going to let this be the defining moment of their community. It's going to be how they came back. And so I think with each obstacle, we're doing everything we can to tackle it. Healthcare, another issue. We want to ensure that we have strong healthcare back up on the ridge. So that's an ongoing discussion. And so those are some of the issues that I think they're all that we're working through right now.
Treasurer Ma, can we just have a few words from you on, anything that you can share from your experience about helping in the recovery efforts, and then also just any tools that your office could use moving forward as you assess
Yes. Fiona Ma, California State Treasurer. My husband is a firefighter with Ventura County, and he was actually one of the first crews up on the Dixie Fire. So we follow this very closely here at the Treasurer's Office. I am the banker. So in an emergency, we try to put money into the local community banks so that they could get the money out quicker. We fund and finance the affordable Member Gallagher says. We work hand in hand, and with Senator Nielsen, whatever they need, we try to accommodate and help the community rebuild faster. So thank you all, everyone behind us.
I just want to recognize Fiona for a second too, because she really did a lot. And as I said, like from day one, she was reaching out, and I can't be more grateful for everything that she did. Whenever we brought an issue or a problem, she was finding solutions. And certainly it was on housing. I mean, we've affordable housing, CDBG emergency grants that we're able to help fund a lot of that housing that's gone up on the ridge. I think, as you heard, over 1,000 units. But also, help with financial, help with charter schools. So she was an amazing partner, and I truly just want to recognize that great effort. It was over and above what I think any of us expected. So we are very appreciative.
We're working very hard to make sure that everybody gets an award notice. 98% of the people who've submitted applications to us have gotten an award. 92% of everyone who's gotten an award has accepted that award, and we're working every single day to close that gap, so there's 100% and 100% acceptances. We have about 67.7 million shares of PG&E stock that we still need to sell, to answer your question. So as soon as the stock price comes back up, we'll be the first people to sell. The last time we sold stock, it was at about $18 a share. Yesterday it was about 16, maybe 16 and a half. So we need the stock to raise up, and then hopefully we'll be there. Optimistic. And I want to thank everybody who's here, who has just gone out of their way to be helpful to me and my team. And whenever we need anything from anybody, the legislature, the people on the committees, they're the first people to come up and help us. And I want to personally thank everybody. They've been extraordinarily helpful to us. Thank you.
If I understand right, that you're asking the relationship with PG&E?
Yeah, what the relationship now is like with PG&E.
Very, very good. They're a partner in our recovery. We need to have that partnership. Without them, we don't make it. So, yeah, I mean, there was, at the beginning, there was a lot of angst and bitterness and stuff like that, but we know now, and we've known for quite some time, that they have to be part of the recovery. If we don't have them, we don't make this thing work. So I would say it's very good, and we're working together as a team with them. So I say my crystal ball burned up in the fire, and so it's really hard to forecast those things. I will say we didn't think we'd be this far in 5 years. We didn't think that this much would be accomplished, but because of people's hard work and because of the cooperation of so many here at the state and the feds, we've accomplished this. How long it's going to take? There's so many variables in that. Over the next 4 years, 5 years, we're going to have all our roads redone, all our undergrounding done, our sewer system will be in, all that stuff's going to happen, and that's going to generate growth. I mean, Paradise, I know, is going to be a place where people want to be. It's a small town. Our school systems are great. Families want their kids in our school systems. So it's going to take off, and I don't see it slowing down, but as far as how long it's going to take, it's still going to take a good decade or more to get us even close to where we were before. So, but that's not a prediction. So don't say I'm predicting that. It's going to take time. And but man, we're excited about where we're at right now. Does that answer your question? I guess.
Melissa Crick. She's one of our she's a board member of the Campfire Collaborative and of the Paradise Unified School District.
Thank you, Megan. I sit on a number of local community boards, and this is an issue that's critical to recovery. We have a number of families that are affected by whether or not this bill passed for many reasons. Most folks know that the state tax bill passed, and so for a portion of our community, there's a belief that both passed, and so folks have spent those funds. We also have a portion of the community that quite honestly needed the funds to survive, so they spent the funds. We have another portion of the community that's waiting. We got that tax extension, so they're waiting to the very last minute to determine what their total amount for recovery is gained from the trust. So collectively, the community is really holding our breath to see what's going to happen with that tax bill. And it truly is critical, and we greatly appreciate the support of our legislators and our leaders in advocating for that bill to pass.
All right, we thank you for your time today and for being here, and we'll be around afterwards, but we just wanted to express our gratitude today and to give a glimpse into our recovery process and what we are doing moving forward. Thank you for your time.